On the morning of August 20th, 2024, Fayette County, Georgia, woke up like any other Tuesday. A quiet suburb south of Atlanta. Big houses, wide streets. One of the lowest violent crime rates in the entire state. The kind of place people move to specifically because it feels safe. That same morning, a man named Kenneth Hardin Jr. was standing in his kitchen with a decision already made. His wife Carrie had told him the night before that she was leaving. And while their two young sons slept upstairs in that house on Merlin Court, he had already decided what he was going to do about it. The people who knew Kenneth Hardin Jr. knew him as Pastor Ken, a third-generation minister who stood on street corners with a microphone and a speaker, preaching the gospel to people who would never set foot inside a church building. A man who talked publicly about the violence destroying black communities, about accountability, about doing better. That was the man Fayette County knew.
Building your tithes and your offerings, but we are interested in you seeing Jesus in us, seeing him in such a way where it provokes you to change. Very recently on this corner, I preached from the subject, aren't you tired yet? You ought to be tired of seeing the community be in the way that it is. With a church on just about every corner, the homicide rate continues to rise.
So what happened inside that house that night is a question that still does not have a clean answer. And that is exactly what we are going to try to find out today. Because here is what the headlines completely missed. This was not the first time Kenneth had come at Carrie with a gun. There was an incident 10 years before August 20th, 2024, and Carrie survived it, and stayed. So the real question sitting underneath everything else is this. What kept a woman this accomplished, this capable, this clear-eyed about who she was and where she was going, from walking away sooner? And the answer to that question is a lot more painful than anyone wants to say out loud. Before we go further, if you are new here, welcome to Case Index. We cover black family murder cases with the depth and detail they deserve. Hit subscribe, tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and drop in the comments where you are watching from. I want to know. Now let's talk about Carrie Smith Hardin. The news gave you an age and a job title and moved on. That is nowhere close to who she actually was. Carrie grew up in St. Charles County, Missouri, a St. Louis girl through and through. She graduated from Fort Zumwalt South High School in 2003, and from the moment she stepped into the world, she was already moving faster than her circumstances. Her best friend growing up, Alicia Allen, described her as someone who was always ahead of where she was supposed to be. Someone who thought bigger. Someone who was building towards something the people around her could not yet see. She became a registered nurse. And then she did something that most nurses never do. She took everything she had learned from inside that profession and built a company around it. Nurses Earn It Medical Staffing Group. Her creation from the ground up. A nurse staffing business operating in all 50 states and American territories. Registered as a women-owned small business. Multi-million dollars in revenue with a full team behind it. And she put Kenneth's name on it as co-managing partner too. She did not just build for herself, she built for her family. Her colleague and close friend Chadcity Adams Miller described her this way. The most impressive thing about her is that she always wanted to improve on things. She always wanted the best outcomes, not just for us nurses, but for the patients as well. But if you really want to know who Carrie was as a person, go to her Facebook. That is where she lived most fully. In April 2021, she posted 54 photos and 7 videos from a family trip to the Kennedy Space Center. Her boys standing next to Cookie Monster. Her boys climbing inside a rocket. Her boys squinting at NASA exhibits with their whole futures ahead of them. Her caption was simple. They had a blast. Sharing moments with them are my most precious moments. A mother who took her sons to see the expanse of what was possible in this world, who used reward charts at home, 2 little faces beaming ear to ear, holding up their gold star charts in her spotless kitchen. She posted them in May 2023 with 2 words, my cuties. She was a mother who showed up fully, every single day, as a nurse, as a CEO, as a parent. And she had been doing all of that while being married to Kenneth Hardin Jr. since May 13th, 2011. Over 14 years together. Now let's talk about Kenneth, because this story only makes sense if you understand who he was before August 20th.
Kenneth started his ministry in some of the toughest neighborhoods in St. Louis, standing on street corners where most people would not stop, delivering sermons with nothing but a microphone and 2 speakers, and the conviction that somebody needed to hear what he had to say. His message was about community, about the violence swallowing black neighborhoods while the church stayed quiet, about men who hurt the people around them and called it something else. It was the kind of faith that gets its hands dirty, and it was exactly that version of Kenneth that drew Carrie to him. A man who seemed to live what he preached, who seemed to stand for something real. They built a life together on that foundation. 2 sons, a move from St. Louis to Fayette County, a gated home on Merlin Court, a large, beautiful house on several acres in a heavily wooded neighborhood. Their neighbor, Jabril Muhammad, later told reporters he would have never expected this from Kenneth. He seemed like a cool dude, he said. He had the fireworks show down here for the kids before the 4th of July. That was the man the neighborhood knew.
On one of those shows, I didn't expect that. We had a fireworks show down here for the kids before the 4th of July.
The man who set off fireworks for other people's children. The devoted father. The street preacher. Pastor Ken. From the outside, the Hardin family looked exactly like what it was supposed to look like. A successful black family rooted in faith. 2 young sons being raised right. A CEO wife. A minister husband. The kind of family that makes other people look twice. But Carrie's closest friends knew something the outside world did not. 10 years before August 20th, 2024, there had already been an incident. A serious one. Kenneth had gotten to a point where he busted out the bathroom window to get to Carrie, and then chased her down the road with a gun. 10 years before he killed her, he had already shown her exactly what he was capable of. And Carrie had kept it hidden from most people around her. Her friends, Alicia Allen and Chadcity Adams Miller, knew. But to the outside world, to the neighbors, to the church community, to everyone who saw Pastor Ken standing on corners with his microphone, nothing was wrong. And that is the part of this story that is genuinely difficult to process. Carrie understood exactly what that incident 10 years earlier meant. She had built a multi-million-dollar company from nothing, raised 2 sons, and managed every moving part of a household and a career simultaneously. She understood the situation she was in, and she stayed anyway, because she had children in that house, a business his name was on, and 14 years of shared history that does not just disappear overnight. She was doing what so many women in her position do, buying time, planning quietly, waiting for the right moment to move. And that moment came in 2024. She accepted a job offer at the Cochran VA Medical Center back in St. Louis, and significantly, not through her own company. Her mother, Yvonne Smith, explained it. Carrie had taken a position at the VA hospital specifically to put distance between herself and the business she had built with Kenneth.
Carrie's mother, Yvonne Smith, by phone from Missouri, told me Carrie had already taken another job.
She had plans for that Monday, but she would get back to me and let me know what was going on. My daughter didn't make it to that point. And Christy said, Carrie told me that she accepted a position at the VA hospital, not even through her company, but through the VA hospital, and that she was moving back to St. Louis to get away from Ken.
She had already contacted a divorce attorney. She was going to take her sons and leave Georgia. The plan was already in motion. And what makes the timeline of August 20th so much more disturbing is what Kenneth did hours before that argument. While it was still daylight, while there was still time to stop what was coming, Kenneth reached out to Carrie's best friend, Alicia Allen, and asked if Carrie and the couple's sons could come stay with her. He was trying to get Carrie and the boys out of the house. He already knew what he was planning to do. He was clearing the way for it. Alicia Allen said it in the aftermath with the kind of grief that does not have a clean resolution. It breaks my heart that I didn't call the police for her. She did not understand what Kenneth was really asking in that moment. Nobody did. And Carrie never made it to Alicia's house. That night, after midnight on August 20th, the argument started. Kenneth told investigators alcohol was involved on both sides. It escalated through the dark hours of the early morning. And at some point, Sergeant Tawela Wilson testified to this in court. Kenneth admitted what had actually driven him to pull that trigger. His wife told him she was leaving, and she was taking their sons with her. He decided she would not get to do that. He shot her 9 times. 9 gunshot wounds to her chest, her torso, and her arms, according to the autopsy. 9 times. From the man who stood on street corners talking about the violence destroying his community. Let that sit for a moment, because what came next was not the behavior of a man who panicked. It was the behavior of a man who had already thought about what he would do if it came to this. His 2 sons were asleep upstairs, right there in that house, while their father went out to the backyard with their mother's body and tried to burn her. Those boys slept through the night, not knowing that the woman who took them to the Kennedy Space Center, who posted "My Cuties" on Facebook, who held their gold star charts and celebrated every single thing they accomplished, was being buried in a shallow grave 50 yards from where they lay. That image is the one that should stay with you. Those 2 little boys were right there and had no idea. Kenneth buried Carrie under yard debris in the wooded area behind the home. He went back inside and scrubbed the carpet where her blood had soaked in, but the cleanup was rushed, incomplete, visible to anyone who knew what they were looking for. He dropped his sons at school the next morning. Then, he bought his father a plane ticket. He flew his father down to Georgia, and at some point during those hours, whether at the bank where he signed over his financial accounts or somewhere after, he told his father what he had done to Carrie. He handed over everything: his assets, his accounts, custody of his sons. And then he left. Kenneth Hardin Sr. described the moment his son confessed in court. "I was thoroughly shocked. I dropped to my knees. I began to pray to God about it." And then he said something that tells you exactly who Kenneth Hardin Sr. is as a man. This tragic, horrible situation does not give to how my son is and how I raised him. His father pretended to be sympathetic. He let Kenneth Jr. leave. And the moment his son walked out, at 11 a.m. on August 21st, Kenneth Hardin Sr. picked up the phone and called the Fayette County police. His own father turned him in. When deputies arrived at 145 Merlin Court, they knew immediately something had happened inside that house. Sheriff Barry Babb said it plainly. The officers could definitely tell immediately that there was somebody with some blood loss and that somebody had attempted to clean the crime scene. Blood stains in the carpet, bullet holes, the remains of a cleanup that had not worked. And then Sheriff Babb noticed something that stopped him after nearly 40 years in law enforcement. Cameras. Cameras everywhere. He described it himself. The thing that really struck me was the amount of surveillance equipment at this house. There were cameras all over the acreage, several acres, cameras all throughout the house. I stood and looked at a multiplex screen of how many cameras you could see, and the angles and the positions. He pulled his captain investigator aside and told him directly, "Assume you were recorded and your suspect is listening to you." Because Kenneth had built that entire system himself, and investigators believed he was watching them search his property in real time, on his phone, from 450 miles away in Louisiana. At the same moment deputies were moving through that house, a cadaver dog was being led through the backyard, and a separate team was already running Kenneth's license plates through the system, coordinating with Louisiana State Patrol and the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office, threading his movements through traffic cameras across 2 states. They tracked his car to a motel off Highway 21 in Covington, Louisiana, on the northern shore of Lake Pontchartrain, across from New Orleans. The St. Tammany Parish SWAT unit surrounded the motel and took Kenneth Hardin Jr. into custody without incident. And at almost the exact same moment, back in Fayetteville, Georgia, the cadaver dog led investigators to that shallow grave in the wooded area behind 145 Merlin Court. The partially burned remains of Carrie Hardin were found buried under yard debris. The woman who had taken her boys to the Kennedy Space Center, who had posted "My Cuties" on Facebook, who had a company in all 50 states and a job waiting in St. Louis, and a Monday morning she never made it to. Sheriff Babb received both calls at almost the same time. They found her, and they found him, simultaneously, as if the truth had been waiting for exactly that moment to surface. Kenneth was brought back to Georgia and questioned by investigators. The self-defense story he had been telling family members fell apart in that room. Sergeant Tawela Wilson testified in court that Kenneth admitted the truth to investigators. He found out Carrie was planning to leave and take their sons with her. That is the confirmed motive, on record, in a courtroom. On June 23, 2025, he stood before Judge Rhonda B. Kruziger and pleaded guilty to felony murder, concealing the death of another, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He asked for mercy. The judge looked at him and said, "The mercy you are asking for is the mercy you should have shown your wife. Life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 5 years consecutive for the firearm charge. Kenneth Hardin Jr. will die in prison." The courtroom heard from Carrie's mother, Yvonne Smith, via webcam. "This is a trauma they will not get over," she said. "It is a profound injury to our whole family." She was talking about her grandsons. Now living with their grandfather, Kenneth Hardin Sr., the man who called 911 on his own son, in that same house on Merlin Court where it all happened. District Attorney Marie Broder said, "While nothing can bring Carrie Hardin back to her sons, I am proud of the efforts by law enforcement and my office to bring some measure of justice to her family and dignity to her legacy." Now let's address the question this whole case has been sitting on from the beginning. Was this really a crime of passion? Kenneth told investigators alcohol was involved. The argument started after midnight. He told family members he acted in self-defense. People heard those details and wanted to believe it was a terrible accident, a night that went too far, a man who lost himself and could not find his way back. But trace what he actually did after pulling that trigger. He went outside with her body and tried to burn it. He buried her under yard debris. He cleaned the blood from the carpet. He dropped his sons at school. He flew his father down and signed over every account he owned. He drove 450 miles to a motel in Louisiana. Every single one of those steps was a deliberate choice made in the hours after the shooting. And when investigators sat across from him after his arrest, the self-defense story was gone. He told them the truth. She said she was leaving and taking the boys, and he shot her 9 times. Kenneth Hardin Jr. stood on street corners with a microphone and preached about the violence tearing apart black communities, about men who hurt the people around them, about doing better. And then he went home and became the very thing he preached against. Chastity Adams Miller said it in the only way that captures it. "I never imagined that something like this would happen to Carrie. No way. Carrie was too big for this to happen to her." She was right. Carrie had Kennedy Space Center trips saved in 54 albums on her Facebook. She had 2 boys holding up gold star charts in her kitchen. She had a company in all 50 states. She had a job offer and a lawyer and a plan that her mother says she never lived to use. May Carrie Smith Hardin rest in peace. May her boys grow up knowing exactly who their mother was and everything she built for them. And the one thing I want you to carry out of this video: when someone you love is trying to leave a situation and you can see them making quiet moves to get out, do not wait for them to ask for help directly. Because Carrie had the job. She had the lawyer. She had already told the people closest to her exactly what she was planning. The window between deciding to leave and actually being gone safe is the most dangerous stretch of time in any situation like this. If someone in your life is in that window right now, help them close it faster. Do not let them navigate it alone. If you made it to the end of this one, I appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next case.